Ever hear about the guy who thought he was booking a cruise and ended up at a juice cleanse retreat instead? Talk about a liquid diet. Let's dive into the story of this unfortunate chap, who, in a hilarious mix-up, found himself in a world of green smoothies and yoga mats instead of the promised land of buffet tables and sun decks. Picture this. Our man, let's call him Bob, booked what he thought was a week-long cruise. But on arrival, he found himself surrounded by health enthusiasts, not the cruise enthusiasts he'd expected. Bob's confusion turned into disappointment as he realized there were no midnight buffets, no festive cocktails, no poolside lounging. Instead, his days were filled with detox sessions, meditation, and a whole lot of kale. The humor in this tale lies not just in Bob's initial shock, but in his struggle to swap burgers for beetroot and fit into this unexpected healthy lifestyle. So the next time you're booking a cruise, make sure it's not a cruise to a healthier you unless you're ready for a week of kale smoothies. Imagine being a sailor who gets seasick. Now that's irony at its best. Let's drift into the story of a peculiar character, a professional sailor named Bob. Bob is a seasoned mariner, has navigated the 7 seas, braved stormy weather, and faced down menacing waves. But there's one thing Bob can't seem to conquer: his own stomach. Yes, you heard right. Bob, the professional sailor, gets seasick. Every time he steps onto a cruise ship, Bob's world starts to spin. The gentle rocking of the ship that most find soothing sends Bob rushing towards the nearest bucket. Picture a sailor, weathered and tough, with a green tint to his complexion, clutching a bucket like it's his best friend. Now you might wonder, how does Bob manage? Well, Bob's got a few tricks up his sleeve. For instance, he swears by the power of ginger. Chewing on a piece of ginger root, he claims, keeps the seasickness at bay. But if the waves get a bit too choppy, even the trusty ginger can't help. The irony doesn't stop there. Bob, despite his profession, has never been able to enjoy a relaxing cruise ship vacation. Imagine that, a sailor who can't savor the experience of a serene voyage. Every time he tries, he ends up spending more time with his bucket than with the breathtaking views. What makes this tale all the more amusing is Bob's undying spirit. He never lets his seasickness deter him. He might be the only sailor who carries a bucket along with his navigational charts, but he's also the one with the most captivating sea tales to tell. So the next time you're feeling a little queasy on a boat, remember Bob, the seasick sailor. And if you're ever on a cruise and spot a sailor with a bucket, give him a friendly nod. It might just be Bob, continuing his love-hate relationship with the sea. So, if you think you're having a tough day, just remember our seasick sailor. Did you hear about the guy who tried to sneak an entire buffet back to his cabin? Now that's a doggy bag. Let's set sail on a hilarious tale of gustatory greed. Picture this. A man, let's call him Larry, who had a love for the ship's buffet that was, well, larger than life. Larry was no ordinary passenger. His appetite was as vast as the ocean itself. He had a plan, a grand plan, to smuggle an entire feast back to his cabin. With plates stacked high and a determination in his eyes, he embarked on his covert operation. His methods were as varied as the buffet itself. From stuffing spring rolls in his pockets to hiding shrimp cocktails under his hat, Larry tried it all. The staff watched in disbelief, stifling their laughter as Larry's culinary caper unfolded. But alas, Larry's buffet banditry was not to be. His downfall? A precariously perched chocolate eclair that gave away his game. So remember, folks, the buffet is all you can eat, not all you can steal. Now, you've heard some funny cruise ship stories, but here's the kicker. Believe it or not, all these hilarious tales of the unexpected passenger, the seasick sailor, and the buffet bandit unfolded on the same cruise. Yes, you heard that right. The same cruise, creating a comedic twist that even the best scriptwriters couldn't dream up. It's like the ship was a floating comedy club on the high seas, with each deck serving up a fresh round of laughs. The unexpected passenger turned out to be a stowaway parrot. The seasick sailor was none other than the captain himself, and the buffet bandit was a sweet old lady with an insatiable appetite for shrimp cocktails. On a cruise, each day brings with it a new wave of humor, a fresh tide of laughter. So the next time you're on a cruise, keep an eye out. You never know what kind of characters you'll encounter, or what kind of stories you'll come home with.